Hello, Tom Barnett here again with another story behind the illustration. Here, one that seeks to highlight how two superpowers, China and the United States, approach the task of, as I like to say, exporting security abroad, but doing so in diametrically opposed ways. So let's dig in. Close readers will recognize the tendency of males of a certain age to remain supremely fascinated with the Godfather series of movies. Heck, even the recent Barbie movie made fun of that. Well, the movie served as title inspiration twice in the book. First in thread 19, where the phrase, "It's not personal, it's strictly business," was famously uttered by Al Pacino, playing Michael Corleone, son of Marlon Brando's godfather, Vito Corleone. In the scene, Michael is assuring his older brother, Sonny, that the idea of killing a police official guilty of engineering an attack on their father is not being made in the heat of the moment, but represents sound business judgment. In this second instance of lifting quotes from the movie, I adapt the famous line uttered by one of the Godfather's senior lieutenants after he participated in the surprise execution of one of the family's soldiers who clearly sold them out to a rival gang. Having previously put the target at ease by getting into the car with Italian desserts, cannoli, his compatriot riding in the back seat shoots the driver through the head while our senior lieutenant goes to the bathroom by the side of the road. When he gets back to the car, he says famously, "Leave the gun, take the cannoli." Well, why did I see my adaptation of the line working here to express the idea of the thread? Let me run you through quickly a slide that I had used for years that inspired the thread and thus the title as well. In this slide, after previously introducing the idea that China tended to play the board while America tended to play the player, I made the following argument. First, I pointed out how China had moved into Latin America to a serious degree, all those Belt and Road Initiative projects, and its rapid uptick in trade. Why such a comprehensive effort by China in Latin America compared to how the United States tends to view it? It comes down to two different ways of viewing this exporting of security as I describe it. America, post 9/11, tends to obsess over its homeland security, thus the emphasis on perimeter security. When we see bad things developing abroad, our preferred response is to send our guns there, take out those bad actors there, our belief being that by doing so, we'll change the security environment there. Very much in line with Colin Powell's doctrine, but not effective in the long term because somebody local there tends to step up there and repeat the undesired behavior there, necessitating a return visit from the U.S. years later. For example, the U.S. has been cleaning house in Haiti on a regular basis for well over a century, and nothing ever changes there. The Chinese way, they don't believe in a secure enough homeland. They feel a long historical vulnerability to being conquered by outside forces, their century of humiliation at the hands of European colonial powers. So their idea, very much in line with the ancient strategy board game Go, is to create safe zones both within China. Think of a place like Xinjiang province and the persecuted Muslim Uyghurs there, but also around the world, like the Belt and Road Initiative itself. Thus, by creating those safe zones, typically highly censored and thus surveilled environments, for example, like any major port facility, and linking them together, China aims not so much to conquer the world, but slice and dice and integrate it to their specific secure supply chain needs. Thus, the opposing approaches. The U.S. kills bad actors and improves the security environment versus China's approach of constructing the secure environment and by doing so, preventing the rise of bad actors. America's approach, top-down, China's bottom-up. We favor the gun, they favor the network, hence the title, Leave the Gun, Take the Biometrics. As we note in the book, using this data visualization, China is working hard to export its preferred version of network and trade security around the world. So, back to the illustration itself. Jim Nuttall's first version looked like this, very direct. We come in shooting, the Chinese come in snatching data through surveillance. One mistake here, you might notice, where's the handle of the gun? We got the gun handle fixed in the second iteration, where we started debating how the surveilled person should be depicted. Male, female, who do you tend to worry about more? Western or Asian or somebody else? We argued out that depiction issue in the red team effort, opting for an Asian male under the logic that China worries first and foremost about expats capable of causing the government any embarrassments, and on average, those dissidents tend to be male. We also worked to get the gun more realistic. Which gets us to the final book version, the gun improved, and clearly China is focused on policing its most feared bad actors, its own dissidents, potentially causing trouble abroad. All in all, a fairly expressive image that captures the primary point of the thread, how we approach the exporting of security abroad from polar opposite positions relative to the Chinese. And that's the story behind this illustration. As always, we love it when people buy the book, when they recommend the book, when they praise the book online. I and my Throughline colleagues, we feel very passionate about this work. Please consider subscribing to my Substack newsletter, and see you next time, next illustration.